Get an Airbnb, they said. You will make money, they said. No, you actually won't. You know why? Because you're gonna have dumb people that end up staying there. Tell me why I had this guest that stayed and then literally lied to Airbnb, said that they didn't stay. So they got to stay for free. They got everything reimbursed. Not only that, they stole a bunch of shit. Like, they literally stole a bunch of shit. And then they gave a bunch of 1-star reviews, and because of that, my Airbnb was blocked for the whole month of July. And like, not because of that, I can't even pay the rent for it because it was blocked. And then when I called Airbnb back and forth multiple times, they never solved my problem. They said they'd call back in 15 minutes, and then they wouldn't. So yeah, if you're gonna make one, just be wary of that.
She's right. Airbnb is cooked, done, donezo, end of story. People got to really start thinking about this kind of stuff when they're thinking about doing an Airbnb. There are so many things we got to talk about in Airbnbs. I haven't done an Airbnb video in a long time. Let's get to it. I got to tell you all the things you need to know that nobody's telling you. And there's a big thing on the horizon. A lot of things are happening. Local governments are not having it anymore.
So last night I had a guest throw a party at this Airbnb with over 25 college kids involved. Let's walk through it together and see what kind of damage they left. So first thing I see outside here is my brand new AC unit, which they hit with a car as they tried to do a U-turn in the driveway. They dented up the side pretty bad here. So that's awesome. Now let's check out how they left the hot tub. Oh my gosh. For those of you guys wondering, it's not supposed to be this green color. It smells like beer and urine. Also, this jet is supposed to be below the water. Usually the water is up here about 6 inches higher. That's really bad for the system. And on top of that, they destroyed our brand new chlorinator here. So that's great. All right, so they also left the back door completely unlocked, but whatever. There's our spa towels. It smells like vomit in here really bad. They also left some pans here, which not a big deal, but hey, they started the dishwasher. Oh hey, would you look at that? I found the smell. That's just great. Let's go upstairs and see what other exciting adventures we can find. So I'm gonna assume this was the bed that was thrown up on because it's completely stripped. Other bedrooms look to be all right. Oh, they threw up on our decorative pillow here as well, so that's great. Now, for those of you guys wondering, this guest has been on Airbnb for 3 years now, and when she requested to book the property a few nights ago, she said it was just 3 people spending the night. We have it very clearly stated in our house rules that if the hot tub is misused and there's clear indications of misuse like this, that we charge a $300 fee to drain, refill, sanitize it, all of those things, because it is expensive to do so. I'm also probably going to need to send a refund of some sort to the guests checking in tonight because they're not going to be able to use it. It won't be hot. I'm also probably going to need to run an ozone machine inside to clear out some of the smell. But then on top of that, this AC unit, I don't even know what to do here. This is, I think, 1.5 years old now. If you guys were in my shoes, how would you deal with this situation?
Here's another day in my life as an Airbnb host. I was completely shocked coming in after these guests had stayed. Apparently, these guests decided to throw a New Year's party when I specifically said that no parties are allowed. They left the bathroom a mess, but the worst was yet to come. And luckily, I bought some extra cleaning supplies. But at this point, I was scared to see the rest of the house. But these have to be the worst guests that I've ever had. I'm always prepared to clean after guests, but not like this. It's almost like they didn't even try to clean at all. I'm not gonna lie, these guests had me rethinking being a host altogether. Like, how do you just leave food in the refrigerator like this? I just knew this was gonna take me hours to clean, so I got started right away.
One thing many people don't talk about when they have rental property or Airbnb property is the throughput, the maintenance, the cost of people coming in and out, in and out, in and out. And then some of these situations, it'll take your cash flow away for months, years. I have seen some horror stories. This is a horror story where you can have one bad tenant, one bad renter, and they can destroy so much of the house. I've seen them flood houses. I've seen them put concrete in toilets. I've seen them infested with bed bugs, fleas, roaches, all kinds of bad things, and it just ups the cost for everything else. Not to mention, this is the reason why insurance is so high. Many insurance policies, when they find out you're doing an Airbnb, is going to double your insurance. And that takes out the cash flow of most of these properties. And this is a reason, not to mention slip and fall claims, damages, flooding, just clear liability. things happen when you have other people in your property that it's not their property, and this is one of them. That air conditioning unit's done. It's probably going to have to be replaced. There's $5,000 or $6,000. The hot tub, what if they would have broke the hot tub? I mean, those things are expensive, and not to mention, once you get all that junk in the hot tub, it's hard to get it out. It's in all those pumps. It's in all those hoses.
Getting ready to start a new small business. That's what renting an Airbnb is. So this is not like, I'm going to just go to the mailbox and collect a bunch of checks because Airbnb is a big deal. No, it's not. It's a lot of work. And they're going to tear up your property, and you're going to put it back, and then they're going to pay for it, and then you're going to be, it's a lot of work. It's very similar to running a hotel. If you want to go make some money, you can make some money with this, but you know that you're dealing with hassle, and the only way you want to do it is to pay cash.
That's true. The work involved in checking people in, checking people out, making sure it's clean, making sure when you got to take extra sheets over there or go fix something, none of this is automated. Plus you got to pay for management, and that eats up a lot of your costs. And I'm willing to bet a large part of novice investors don't understand when they're cash flowing and when they're not.
So I sold my Airbnb. I'm in it right now for the last time. I'm going to take down the Ring cameras, but it's going to be selling in a couple days, and let me tell you why. So I had this property on Airbnb, I want to say for 4 months. I know in the beginning it's slow and you have to start off your reviews and build it up and things like that. But I never hit the numbers that AirDNA gave me, and I never was hitting any numbers that anybody else gave me. So every month I calculated after the second month of doing Airbnb and thinking I was doing good because I had people in here every weekend, I was losing about $2,000 a month having this Airbnb. So I talked to a couple of my mentors and I said, do I weather this storm and eat the $2,000 until spring and summer come back and pray that the rent amount will go up? And they told me no. They said, sell it now. Walk away. Even if you walk away with no money, it's better than bleeding $2,000 a month. So I sold my Airbnb. I'm in it right now for the last time. I'm going to take down the Ring cameras, but it's going to be selling in a couple days, and let me tell you why.
It's their insurance, their taxes. Taxes is going to be higher because it's in an LLC or it's not your main homestead. Most taxes are going to be higher. Your insurance is higher. You've got the management costs, and a lot of people probably aren't making money. They think they are, but they probably aren't. And if you factor in your time, okay, you got to factor in an hourly for your time. And then it's a business. You're running a hotel. And the tenant laws, most people don't understand tenant laws. When they stay longer than a certain amount of time, you can get hemmed up for that. Here's another one. A lot of drug transactions happen at Airbnbs. We had a thing here where I live that people would book people would book the Airbnb. They'd all meet over there. They would transact their drugs and they would leave. And then the cops raid your house. They knock down your door, okay? There's all these problems in the system, and they're starting to come to fruition. Now, let's factor in most of the downtown areas or the beach. Some of these local municipalities are saying, we've had enough, the throughput, the craziness. We either want to tax them to death, there goes your cash flow, or we're going to give a license for it. They'll fine you if you don't tell them you're operating it. They want to get that license, and if you don't have one, you're not allowed. They're only going to allow so many in an area. Like Orange Beach, I think, got rid of them. Okaloosa Island, if you're not on the beach, got rid of them. Like they're happening. And if you bought a property thinking this is how I'm going to cash flow it, and it doesn't on basic rental numbers, this is a bad investment. Because at any moment, this thing could not book or they could change the rules.
Okay, you need to hear this if you use Airbnb or plan on using Airbnb for your vacations in the future. This is a PSA and a freaking warning to, if you use Airbnb, take photos of everything. I mean, from the moment you walk in, literally take a photo, or a video of everything. It doesn't matter if it's clean or not. Just take a freaking video, take photos of absolutely everything, okay? Once you do that, then take photos of when you're checking out of absolutely everything. I mean, check everything. Things that you probably didn't even touch. Like if you didn't touch a TV, turn on the freaking TV and check it, just because apparently now this is our responsibility. So I started an Airbnb a couple weeks ago. I just woke up to an email stating that I owe $600 for a broken TV, damaged towels, damaged bed sheets, and 7 regular towels and 1 hand towel. I'll share the photos of everything of what they're saying was damaged. We didn't touch this TV. We didn't break this TV. We didn't do anything like that. I'm so appalled that they're saying we broke this TV, because we definitely did not. We were in Disneyland almost every day, and when I watch something with my daughter, it's on my phone. Like, I don't put a huge TV on at the end of the night for her to fall asleep to. That's like way too big. She's a year and a half. I had other people in the room. No one else said they used the TVs except for the TVs in the living room, because that was where everyone was mainly gathering when we were home. The towels, the stains, they already had stains on them. Like, they weren't brand new clean towels. Like, they had stains, and now I'm being the one that has to pay for these. Now let's get to the beanbag chair. This beanbag chair was in the closet of the Airbnb in the laundry room. We never pulled it out. We never touched it. Nothing. Now all of a sudden we're the ones who damaged it. No, we never even touched your beanbag chair. We seen a thing in the closet, the gray thing that they took a picture of out. They pulled it out of the fucking closet, showing us a rip on it. We never even used it or touched it. And then I'm going back through the reviews of this Airbnb host, and I just scroll back a few, but it looks like they've done this before. They have done fraudulent charges on their guest before. And so I want to know.
So on one hand, we have guests breaking stuff. On the other hand, we have bad hosts. And somewhere in there, the system is breaking down. And I totally agree with her. Take pictures of everything. That's for any transaction. Whether you're buying a house, whether you're doing an Airbnb, anything that there may be a dispute with another person about. Your phone usually puts a time date stamp on it and sometimes a grid coordinate. So that's correct, do that. I just find this whole thing starting to crumble, and when I saw 2 brand new hotels going up down the street right outside of a neighborhood full of Airbnbs, I'm like, something's about to change.
Guys, when you stay at an Airbnb, your cleaning fee does not cover things like rearranging the entire house, okay? We as hosts do not have time to do that. And then when we say no pets, don't tell me that a cat is a service animal, because according to the ADA rules, it is not. I should not be finding all my rugs ruined with cat pee and cat litter throughout the house. It's not okay, guys.
That's rough. Nothing will run a house faster than cat urine. I'm allergic to it. A lot of people are allergic to it, and that's what she's not also telling you is the next person behind them is going to probably be allergic to it. Go watch the video where I made the video where they had all the cats in the house and they had to cut the floors out because of the cat urine. It was whew.
Cracking down.
Atlanta, I had a friend that had 28 Airbnbs, and then they passed a law that you can only have 2. One in your personal name, the property, and one in an LLC. My buddy lost all his Airbnbs except for those 2.
But what did he do? Have to just sell the homes?
He just sold them all out. He kind of just fire sold them the best
Did he lose money?
Oh yeah. Sadly, he was making a killing though before then. That's happening in a lot of different locations. In fact, my buddy here in Tampa, I mean, a lot of people do Airbnb, but they passed a law there recently too that they prohibited, and some people that had these Airbnbs are having to fire sell them. In fact, I've bought a bunch of properties from people who had Airbnb, so kind of against that model.
They're cracking down.
Atlanta, I had a friend that had.
Are we seeing the downfall of Airbnb? Our cabin that has been booked in the Smoky Mountains from about 85 to 95% occupancy year-round is just not occupied at all. Our prices right now for 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom cabin overlooking the Smoky Mountains is less than a hotel, and I have to beg people to come to my cabin right now. Like you guys have seen me, I've been hustling, posting videos for January and February. We had 3 stays in January, and there is only 1 stay coming up here in February, and then our next stay is not till March 10th.
A lot of these politicians believe that if they can split up the amount of Airbnbs in the downtown area, that it'll put more houses back onto the rental market. And that way they can kind of force the hand for long-term rentals. Well, what they don't know is that some of those people overpaid for those properties thinking they're going to be able to Airbnb it. And they were sold that property on the numbers for Airbnb because for many, many years, people were like, oh, well, it gets $2,000 a month for rent, but I can get $4,500 a month for Airbnb, so therefore I can pay, $500,000 for it, but it's really only worth like $350, and so they did it, and then now they're caught in between, and they're going to get hemmed up for the difference, for that gap. The 1% rule I'm going to tell you right now, does not cash flow in most places now. And if you know what the 1% rule is, it is if it's a $100,000 property, it needs to rent for $1,000 a month, $200,000, $2,000. And it theoretically, that 1% would cover your taxes, insurance, you know, a little bit of maintenance, vacancy, and you'd be able to cash flow. Just basically saying, you know, 1% rule. No, it's really like more like 1.5% now because the cost of everything has gone sky high.
Airbnb is going away in a lot of markets around the country right now. I'm seeing the fucking writing on the wall. We manage Airbnbs in 8 markets right now around the country, stuff that I own, but also for a lot of third-party owners as well as our investors. And so we have a good pulse of what's going on in the Airbnb market. The numbers right now in all the markets that we manage in are tremendously down from 2021 when everyone's on lockdown. People were traveling domestically. No one was traveling internationally at that time. And so if you look at the regulatory environment out there, we just saw what happened in New York City. They just banned short-term rentals. San Diego just regulated. Airbnb is going away in a lot of markets around the country right now. And so as that happens, it's bringing more demand back to the boutique hotels. And so
the time for it was years ago. He's totally correct. There's going to be some markets that will survive, but politicians are going to get rid of this because they think they can solve the housing crisis like this. Insurance is going to go up. Taxes are going to go up. The bed tax is going to go up. The local municipal tax for an Airbnb is going to go up, and it's going to just drive them into the ground. And pretty soon, some of these are going to start coming back on the market.
Crisis. There's even Airbnb now has so many problems that I don't know if they will ever be able to recover. We are seeing the crash of Airbnb. Now, some of these problems include the insane fees that add up to more than the cost per night and the negative effect that it is having on the current housing crisis. There's even horror stories of tenants moving in and then staying and squatting and refusing to pay rent, refusing to leave the property, and Airbnb and the government is doing nothing. So Airbnb is truly a mess. It is not affordable anymore, and a lot of these places aren't even that nice. You used to go to...
True story. We stayed at one in the mountains not too long ago, and it was all cool, and it was like this bear getaway, and there was all these smoky bear stuff all over the place. Well, the bears were so bad at the house that they would raid the trash cans every night. And I went out there. I could hear them in it. I'm not going out there. There's bears out there. And I go out there afterwards, and they had just strode the trash everywhere. And they had a little sign, beware of bears. Keep lid on trash can or they'll throw it everywhere. And I'm like, but you want me to clean up what your bears did? And I'm just like, where do I go with this? Nice house, cute spot, but the bears, okay? And if you shot one, you're in trouble. But the bears, okay? I mean, these were like 300-pound bears, black bears, a whole herd of them. They'd come down from the mountain and they would raid the trash cans. They'd be outside the door if you went out there in the middle of the night. I don't know what you think about that. Comment down below, but I don't want to have to clean up after the bears.
Should have done our research and we should have known better. So the blame is on us, but you live and you learn, and we have definitely learned from this experience. But what happened is that we purchased a home last December. We moved into it was our second home, so we had sold our first home and we were able to purchase the second home. It was a beautiful home. The price was higher, definitely higher than our first home, but it was something that was doable for us, and it was our dream home, and we thought that we were going to raise our children in this home, and we were going to have this home for a very long time. And the mortgage was $3,832, which might seem high for some, but for us it was fine. We could do that. And so then in February, we received the new mortgage for the year that had like the escrow and all that, and it showed that we had an escrow shortage of $23,000 because whenever they had calculated the mortgage and the property taxes whenever we had purchased the home, they calculated it for the land. They didn't take into account that a home was going to be on the land. So whenever they realized, oh, there's a home on the land, then it gave us an escrow shortage of that $23,000. So our mortgage went from $3,832 to around $7,200 a month, $7,200 and change. So $3,832 affordable, $7,200, no way we can do that. No way at all.
This is one of the biggest bait and switches in real estate. Most people don't know that when you have undeveloped property, just a vacant piece of land, you put a house on it, You sell the house, well, it's going to be reassessed by the tax collector or the tax assessor the next year, and your tax is going to go through the roof. And then your insurance is probably going to do something funky. If you're in the state of Florida, it probably will, and it's going to go through the roof. And so when you escrow these things, all of a sudden you'll look and you're like, whoa, I didn't see that coming, and now you can't afford the house. But if your realtor didn't tell you that, your mortgage officer didn't tell you that, the builder's not going to tell you that. And here's the other part. They allow a builder to finance property themselves. Like D.R. Horton has their own lending inside of it, and they will finance you the property. Well, they're not going to tell you. The other real estate agent isn't going to tell you. So if you're not using your own real estate agent that looks out for you in the deal, you think you're just going to go to the builder and think you're going to get a better price because you're using their agent. No, you're not. For the most part, they're not going to look out for you. That contract is going to be structured to protect them. And if you don't have your own agent to argue with their agent, you're going to be doing whatever they're doing. You're not going to know about how to do your walkthrough. You're not going to know that, well, and your lender should be telling you, hey, your taxes are going to go up. The underwriter should say, can they afford it if the taxes go up or whatever else go up? But nobody's looking out for you in that situation. The lender should be looking out for you in that situation, but you're using their lender. You're baked in to fail. Okay, this is just my opinion here. You got to make sure you're protecting yourself on this. And many people are trying to use these as Airbnbs. And if you don't know this part of the system, and all of a sudden your taxes and insurance go through the roof, well, that property is dead in the water and you're going to lose money on it every month. And that's what happened to some of these people. They realized after they penciled out the numbers the correct way and underwrote it the correct way that they were losing money every month. Or if you're just trying to buy a house yourself, that you can't afford it. But that's all I got, everybody. Comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and who knows what the next one will be. These are interesting. I love hearing people's stories. I like hearing you guys' stories, and I think y'all should argue in the comment section. So maybe there's that one person out there that can learn from something somebody said. See you guys later.